And I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever.
Be cool, sir. Be cool, sweetheart. Be cool. That's all you know. Be cool. Shaking that warm whipped cream oil on your naughty head. Jacket's buttoning up to your chin. So full of white man's words. Huh? Christ. God. Hallelujah. Why don't you get up and scream at these people? Like scream meaningless shit in these hopeless faces. Red trains cough Jewish underwear for keeps, huh? Expanding smells of silence, gravy snot, whistling like seabirds. Come on, Clay. Come on. Get up and scream at these people. Don't sit there dying the way they want you to die, baby. Get up!
Oh.
Get up! Get up!
God damn it, sit down!
Screw yourself, Uncle Tom. Clay, you middle-class black bastard.
Oh, come on.
Forget your social working mother for a few seconds and let's knock stomachs. Clay, you live-in white man. You would be Christian. Why, you ain't no nigger. You're just a dirty white man. Come on, Clay.
Let that up.
Yeah, pardon me. So we back again, Mantis Views29. I'm here with the brother Blue Pill. We just walked out of the St.Patrick's Cathedral here in so-called New York, right? And this is serious work. The work is highly crafted. This is not the type of buildings that, you know, they're building now, where they throw you up a mansion in like 2-3 weeks, if that, you know what I mean? This is some serious work that went into this right here. And from being on the inside, I was saying how you see the aspects of, some people would call that idolatry, with the people praying to the pictures and the posters. Other people would say it's necromancy, which is worshiping the dead, right?
Yes.
So my thing is to you, where do you think that this fits in with the whole aspect of people being more open to all the spiritual texts? We just had Farrakhan come out and talk about his quote-unquote conversion to Jesus or Christianity. Pardon me if I used the one term wrong, but I know he referred to Elijah Muhammad as Jesus. Where do you think that fits in? Is that a form of necromancy? And what do you feel? Because we're here on All Saints Day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that within itself, there's a level of hypocrisy in that. You know, in Christianity, they tell you it's Jesus and the Father. You know what I'm saying? So you already splitting your loyalties between two individuals. So they tell you it's one and the same. But here at the cathedral in particular, you know, you have, because this is a house of Catholicism. So then you got the Pope, who's supposed to be the vicegerent between you and God. Now you got the saints.
So it's mad different more saints, quote unquote. Saint Maurice, St. Patrick.
Yeah, let's see if we can find.
Yeah, let's see if we can find some more Moors.
Now when the saints go marching in, now when the saints go marching in, yes, I want to be in that number. Now when the saints go marching in, sing it again. Now when the saints marching in, now when the saints go marching in, yes, I want to be in that number. Now when the saints go marching in.
Yeah.
And then you have, you know, the cardinals and everything that sits in the archdiocese and the Pope, you know what I mean? All of them people that sit underneath that.
Yeah.
So you know, that shit is confusing. That's like having a godfather, then you got an underboss, then you got capos, then you got soldiers. You know what I'm saying? Everybody don't get an envelope.
Right.
Only the big homie do. So, you know what I'm saying? It within itself is a contradiction. And then the Bible says no graven images. We ain't see nothing but graven images in there.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Then the Bible says, you know, no idol worships. You know what I'm saying? We've seen a lot of idol worship. You feel me? So it's a contradiction within itself, point blank, period. Let's go the philosophical route and say that there was such a man who walked this earth and did the things that people claim that he did. You know, the structure of, you know, control religion of, you know, what this thing has become is not the intent, the original intent of what his mission entailed. Because we already know that he was a people, or he was for the people, he was amongst the poor. You know, he was the underdog. And you're looking at trillion-dollar organizations, you're looking at big business, you know. So when people speak Jesus these days, it has to be very clear as to what they're talking about. The original intent, the spirit of whatever that original intent must have meant, even if it was a derivation of something that was a lot more older and classic. Or you're talking about a contrived and controlled priesthood, you know what I'm saying? A corporation at this particular point. So when Farrakhan identifies himself as a worshiper or a follower of Jesus, you know, we have to know in what sense is he talking. Is it the iconic sense of, you know, what we know and understand when we read the quote-unquote Bible of who Jesus was, the Prince of Peace for the people, somebody who put his life on the line and made these sacrifices? Or are you speaking in the religious sense of organized religion, you know what I'm saying, of, you know, someone who is worthy of worship and, you know, has a military to back him, you know, by way of the Jesuits and U.S. military and all of these other things, you know what I'm saying? So it could be very confusing because we don't know what it is that we're dealing with, you know what I'm saying, these days. A lot of people are masking that name to come in the name of whatever their personal interests are, whether that be politics or, you know, whatever.
Christianity,
just yesterday, all of these Christians were dressed up as little demons and devils with pitchforks and motherfucking horns in their head. Gathering candy as if the babies ain't sweet enough. Right? Gathering candy, okay? But today they in the pews on their knees worshiping saints. I don't know. You know?
The idolatry of it is just a little bit, it's contradictory, but at the same time, you see.
Hold on. We talking idolatry. There's no bigger idol in this society than the devil.
You know, again, so-called Atlantic City, New Jersey, 1 block away from the ocean, where the Atlantic Ocean meets the eastern coast of the shoreline. I'm literally 1 block away. I don't know, it seems interesting. Is this a melanated man? Or is it something deeper in this message, whereas this guy has horns on the top of his head? Does this represent Aries? You know, the charging, the god of war, the, you know, first sign of the zodiac? What are we looking at here? You know, this kind of looks like the same kind of design that is on the 1 Federal Reserve note, if I might add. You know, let me step back so you can get that. I'll make a comparison there. Again, this is so-called Atlantic City. And this shape of this platform this is on is an octagon.
They don't dress up as Jesus.
Right.
I ain't seen nobody with no fucking wings yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I seen people with broken wings.
Right.
What does a black angel look like? Even when niggas dress up as angels, they gotta have black wings on, they got black eyes and shit. They the angel of death.
Right.
But they scared of death, they spooky of death. And death is your best friend, quote unquote black man. You know, again, if black means death, then you might need to embrace death.
Why are those hopeless colored names creeping out of New Jersey? Why are those hopeless colored names creeping out of New Jersey? Like a Leonard.
Yeah. Like what?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like a Leonard.
Yeah. Like what?
Definitely.
Yeah. Like what?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And figure out what is the inherent power in death. Why is everybody scared of death, but nobody's scared of you? And figure out what is the inherent power in death. Why is everybody scared of death, but nobody's scared of you?
I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. I'm gonna tell you something straight off the motherfucking press. I ain't coming for no foolishness. In New York, goddammit, y'all motherfucking women look good.
Right.
Yeah. You know, when we talk about idol worship and idolatry and things of that nature, you know, if this is not a cathedral to idol worship, then what is it?
Exactly. That joint is
That's a lot of flaws
on
on that in this cathedral. I don't know if they house any homeless people in there. I don't know what their soup kitchen look like. You feel me? This is an institution.
Absolutely.
A political institution in the middle of New York City. This is a political institution. They're responsible for putting politicians in place. And things of that nature. And they just so happen to do services on Sunday to make the people feel good. But this is a political institution. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
This is an outpost for the Vatican.
After the war, the great empires were dismantled. And you had the rise of new independent states. Colonialism was over. So now you had local churches in different countries, in Africa especially, but also Asia. So now you had local churches in different countries, in Africa especially, but also Asia.
But this is a political institution, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
This is an outpost for the Vatican.
Who were now having to deal with their own local governments, some of which were friendly to the church, some were not. So how do you deal with that phenomenon of newly independent nations?
It was not only what was going on in the world that led Pope John to call for a council, but also what was going on in the church. There is evidence that his predecessor, Pope Pius XII, had thought about convoking a council. Even in his teaching, Pius XII was laying the groundwork for change in the church.
Yeah, and you gotta keep in mind too that the Romans ran up in England, and then you know a big conversion happened. But it's funny the duplistic nature of when we talk about citizenship or civilian It means something totally different in English law or the law of the church. You know what I'm saying? What a quote-unquote civilian is. And I can't remember off the top of my head what it means in England, but I'm gonna put the definition up here now that I'm thinking about it. You mentioned the political institution. So
Exactly what it is.
yeah. And this is the same institution, whereas they had mandates to go in on the Moors, the bull intercatera divinas,
Papal bulls and
papal
edicts.
bulls and edicts. Yes, you know what I mean? All of it stemming from the quote-unquote church. But you know what I'm saying? I gotta get this black bird right here real quick. But nonetheless, this is what it is. So that animosity between what they're projecting as Islam and why they don't like it is because it goes back centuries ago. And they just continuing that cycle right now. So it was these very institutions who came with the idea of calling people descriptions like black, crayon colors and shit like that.
Clay, you middle-class black bastard.
Oh, come on.
Forget your social working mother for a few seconds and let's knock stomachs. Clay, you live-in white man. You would be Christian. Why, you ain't no nigger. You're just a dirty white man. Come on, Clay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Taking over
Christian black codes.
the Christian black codes. You know what I'm saying? And the Catholics are a big part of that too, because it all goes back to Rome. Municipal means Roman, Catholic, that's they shit, that's they, you know what I mean?
When in Rome. We in Rome, doggy.
Yeah. So Rome is making a claim on our homeland.
Yeah, this is,
You know what I
you
mean?
know what I'm saying? This is America.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yup. And Romans.
I'm Moroccan territory under Roman occupation.
Yeah.
Let's be clear.
Let's be very clear.
In recent centuries, millions of people came to this land to pursue the dream of building a future in freedom. We, the people of this continent, are not fearful of foreigners because most of us were once foreigners. I say this to you as the son of immigrants, knowing that so many of you are also descendants from immigrants.
This is,
You know what I mean?
you know what I'm saying? This is America.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yup. And
I'm
Romans.
Moroccan territory under Roman occupation.
Yeah.
Let's be clear.
Let's be very clear.
Tragically, the rights of those who were here long before us were not always respected. for those peoples and their nations from the heart of American democracy, I wish to reaffirm my highest esteem and appreciation. Those first contacts were often turbulent and violent.
All right, so let's move on. Conquest, we read it. Most people, we are ready, we know it. Now, are you running out? Now colonization occurred, right? So they conquested. Now what's colonization? European nations colonized the Americas to exploit. Look what they're telling you what the reason is. It's right here. To exploit natural resources. They do it today. Engage in commerce, create new communities, and convert native peoples to Christianity. Bam, right there.
You would be Christian. Why, you ain't no nigger. You're just a dirty white man. Come on, take it.
It's religious. Their religion is what they're practicing today. They will kill you if you don't convert to what they say is their religion. It's in the Intercaterra Divina, people. It's right in the divine intent.
Right.
All right, now hold on.
Now,
you heard that. So that supports that information.
Also the Christian black codes.
And the Christian black codes. We are here at Ellis Island right now, people, where many of us will never come and have never come and have no interest in being to come.
And this is where they telling you the truth.
And this is where they're telling you the truth. And a lot of your people will say to you, oh, you shouldn't go there, it's not about you. It is about you because the land, you are the Aboriginal, you're the original Americans.
What banner is that right there next to the Star Spangled Banner?
Vatican.
All right, you know what I'm saying? This shit is flying right along with the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a political institute for sure. Absolutely.
Well, we know that, you know, the Vatican is modeled as sovereign land. You know what I'm saying? You could probably explain that better than I can, how they took the same dictates that Drew Ali came with, with a nation state.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly why that flag is flying, because, you know, you're not in the confines of New York City when you're in this cathedral.
Right, it's a whole different...
You're on Roman Vatican property.
Yeah, it's a whole different,
you know?
Yeah. So there you go. And really, it's not even... You know, the only ones who could trump that claim is the Aboriginal people to this land.
Listen up! Y'all don't understand. This land that you stand on, that you think is America, this is actually Africa. The dear Mississippi that you love, that you know of, that's the Nile River. This is our land. You are Aboriginal Indigenous American. You are a Moorish American. So where is their green card? Where is their green card? Huh? They need weapons. We don't need no weapons. Huh? Stop calling us black.
One of those hopeless colored names creeping out of New Jersey. Like a landlord.
Yeah. Like what?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Just exactly like what? Or Everett.
Yeah.
We're not African American. We Moorish American. Aboriginal to Indigenous.
What's all right over there?
Know the laws of the land. Know your birthright and nationality. You are a Moorish American. Fight for your nationality. The Pope says stand up. The Pope says stand up. The Pope says stand up.
I say this to you as the son of immigrants, knowing that so many of you are also descendants from immigrants.
Know the land. Know the laws of the land. You are an Aboriginal, Indigenous American.
But they've been, like, we've been conquered in the name of Christianity. They say, the cross through the crown, they say, in this sign we conquer.
Yes.
I seen that on 125th as well. Like, everything be talking. This that sign. In hoc signo visus, meaning in this sign they conquer. But look how they got the globe showing on the Americas. You know what I mean? They ain't showing it in you know, Europe or quote Africa. They talking right here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then they got the lion in the land, which is 2 fire signs, right? Leo and Aries. Yeah. That's open history right out there as well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what I want to know is, you know, because there's a lot of people who feel like they can't do without anything. Like, even if they don't go to church, they're still being ran by Christians.
And most of the people think that separation is a pipe dream.
Yes, sir.
My dear friend Cornel West actually said, "You living in a pipe dream, baby." Well, I ain't smoking the pipe.
Yes, sir.
And the God that I serve, the Quran says of him, he does not slumber, nor does sleep overtake him. It ain't a dream.
You know what I mean? And it's nothing against anybody's divinity beliefs or anything like that. But understanding the lineage of the political aspect. With Farrakhan talking about quote-unquote separation or death, as you was just mentioning, you know, everybody's scared of that word death. Separation or death. What's your takes on the fact that, you know, there are people who are like, yo, we need to dissolve certain bands with them. Not to be extremist or nothing, but this is the same shit they did when they was breaking away from Great Britain. They was like, look, whenever any party becomes too abusive to the ends of somebody else's freedom,
right.
You know
That's
what I'm saying?
That's how this quote-unquote great country was formed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's how this great country was formed. But I guess, you know, the people, the powers that are in charge right now understand that language is a language of repulsion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look, I don't want to pay taxes to Caesar no more.
You need to read that because it's incredible. The first legalized slavery or form of legalized slavery was they took the Native Americans and those colonists who did receive land grants, they also received the labor of a Native American for 9 months. They also received the labor of a Native American for 9 months. And out of the year, there it is.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look, I don't want to pay taxes to Caesar no more.
You know that they were forced though, right?
Yeah,
and
forced
they took, that's forced servitude, and they say right there, this is a form of legalized slavery. And in response to the concerns brought about extensive exploitation of Native Americans, a new law was passed in what? 1542. Guess what that one did? It requires the Native American tribes to provide an annual amount of labor and produce. It's still a form of legalized slavery.
Sounds like IRS type of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look, I don't want to pay taxes to Caesar no more.
Yeah, report your income.
Yeah.
Report what you've done.
It's the same shit.
And this is what we were saying. We wanted the people to get this because if you have the foundation of what happened and what's going on, you know how to stand on it, in it, and against it. Because that is absolutely what that is. And again, it's their jurisdiction of the United States, not yours.
Right, 1512.
Fuck your iris and the IRS. Get the hell up your high horse.
You know what I'm saying? I want off of this titty.
Right.
So, you know, I think that they have gone about identifying, you know, said parties that they have that issue with that are putting these quote-unquote claims in. As Farrakhan said, you know what I'm saying? One group is designated as a threat while the other isn't.
Now, we chose a subject. Separation or death.
One of those hopeless colored names creeping out of New Jersey. Like a Leonard.
Yeah. Like what?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Recently, the FBI, in a new version of the counterintelligence program, talked about black identity extremists.
Go ahead. That's right.
And they've got the Moorish Science Temple and the followers of Noble Drew Ali, and they didn't mention us, but we know they're coming. So
even though this group over here, their entire mandate is stipulated upon separation, but they're not part of that designation of this conceived threat. So why is this other group considered a conceived threat? Because this other group has actually gone about the means and the ways in which to separate.
Exactly.
You understand? So that's threatening.
Right.
That's threatening.
It's like he did say it in a pretty blatant way or plain way. When sisters get tired of anybody, you know what I'm saying? Or anybody gets tired of anybody for that matter. It's only a matter of time before they start devising a plan to get out of an abusive relationship.
Wait. Sisters, have you had an abusive man in your life? Can the church say amen? When you have an abusive man in your life, and the more you try to show that man how much you care, how much you love, and then he keeps abusing you, what thoughts come to your mind? No, wait, don't kill him, for God's sake. But don't you think about moving somewhere else, or doing something else, or being with somebody else? But not you.
Same thing with us and them, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? The shit hasn't been working. But look, we seen the shit that they did. They can't flip that on the original people now and act like, you know, they're foreign and some wild separatists because, you know what I mean? They finally woke up to the fact that, yo, nations can be independent. You know what I'm saying? And we don't have to do
My question is this.
Yeah.
Religion denotes faith. Standing on the mandate of separation and saying, come up out of her, my people, right?
Yeah.
She no longer serves you. The milk and the titty is spoiled.
Right.
But yet, you have remained unscathed and untouched. You're protected by something, so our brother Farrakhan said. Now, what are we supposed to have faith in to have the same protection as you? Aliens?
Right.
Or is it Islam? I don't hear nobody giving the reward to Allah.
Colonization occurred, right? So they conquered it. Now, what's colonization? European nations colonized the Americas to exploit. Look what they're telling you what the reason is. It's right here. To exploit natural resources. They do it today. Engage in commerce, create new communities, and convert native peoples to Christianity.
Now, what are we supposed to have faith in to have the same protection as you? Aliens?
Right.
Or is it Islam? I don't hear nobody giving the reward to Allah.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but He, the originator of the heavens and the earth, and all therein. We thank Him for His prophets and messengers and the scriptures which they brought. We make no distinction between His prophets.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And maybe I'm kind of mixed up with the ideology, you know, because I'm not in the inner chambers of the Nation of Islam, and I'm sure that I'll be corrected after this video comes out. But I know that when they go into the upper degrees and what have you, you know, Clarence 13X came out with the lessons, and it said that the Asiatic man was God.
Yeah, facts.
But even over here, they said that, you know, Fard was God and Elijah was his messenger. You know what I'm saying? But from that podium, I hear a lot of, you know, they're talking about God as if it's something very external.
Yeah.
And in the sky.
Right.
You know, who do we send our prayers to? You know what I'm saying? Where we can receive that level of protection as well.
That's what I was going to say, for sure. Yeah. That's what I was going to ask you next.
I'm out here busting my gun.
Yeah.
I need some protection.
Yeah. Facts.
Yo, we gotta talk about mental health in the conscious community.
You live right now?
Yeah.
Yo, what's going on?
We gotta talk about mental health in the conscious community.
It's a serious issue.
What happened earlier today, man?
Oh my God. Brother that was out here last week looking to cut red pill and blue pill's heads off for some hearsay from the mother of his children, right? Spread some heresy and lies about these brothers and was actually carrying weaponry to harm these gentlemen. And just so that you could have somebody to be evidentially a witness.
Yeah.
The brother, and we both know the brother from before.
Both know the brother.
But he flipped out.
Ain't the same brother no more.
He let white supremacy win. He let the system drive him to the point where he not only talking about killing himself, he's willing to put his life on the line. He even said it. He said, I was walking around like a Manchurian candidate.
The brother said, yo, the government programmed me to kill you and your brother on 125th Street.
Yeah.
I need some protection.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he said that they're playing with his mind.
Yes, through the cell phone.
Through the cell phone. But he said they was playing with my shit so much that they pushed me to the level to where I had blacked out.
Fact.
Got the land there.
Yeah. Like what?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And all I wanted to do was kill one of you brothers.
Yes.
Because of
and
the
he
YouTube.
literally was out here. Literally.
I
saw him. I got the nod. He was dead serious. He was walking for the whole day, bro. He walked up and down the block the whole day.
Screaming at the top of his lungs.
Yes.
I'm getting phone calls from mad people that like, yo, you need me to do something. I'm like, nah. I didn't even know who it was. But the brother came and told me, he was like, look, they watching you and they're utilizing people who have been compromised. Remember, the brother's homeless, right? He's living in a shelter, but he's also on medication, and he has a history of that. So his history of being on meds, he was saying that the government was basically tweaking his mind. Just giving y'all an insight to some of the shit that takes place out here.
He's back. He's right behind me. He's sad. He's here.
Oh, word? We talked him up?
We talked him up.
Should my faith be in the aliens? That's all I need to know.
Right.
And I'm not being facetious. Because I've been on record about my, experiences as well. I'm here with you.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, in terms of other people who should be able to come under the same protections as you, because we're supposed to be moving as a unit.
Right.
And a force to be reckoned with, because technically we're all here for the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? How does one protect themselves in this particular climate?
Allah has made some of the prophets to excel others. but they excel because God permitted it.
Damn. Especially if you didn't end up on the list, but other people did.
Right. Exactly. Well, that's a really good point, bro, because I was gonna ask you, what's your thoughts on the quote-unquote paranormal? We here on All Saints Day.
Do we need student enrollment?
You know what I mean? Yeah, real shit. You know? But because I mean, like, people the speech was great, but then they like, I don't know about this, you know what I mean? Alien, what he saw up on the spaceship shit, and this is not disrespect. I'm like you said, I understand it. I personally know that the paranormal is real. I believe that that truth will only be revealed to you if you're on a certain vibration or frequency. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't convince everybody who's not there that the shit is real. I've had experience. I know it's real. You know what I'm saying? But do you think it's like shit like that is far-fetched? Like being taken up on a beam of light and all of that? Like, what's your thoughts on it? We can't say, can we say this man's story is not true? And the reason I'm asking you that, because like you said, are we supposed to have our faith in aliens? Because that was a conversation a lot of our people was having for years now, but specifically over the last year, people have been bringing that conversation up. They credit the aliens with building pyramids, you know what I'm saying? And all types of mystical attributes, you know what I mean?
Right.
So at this particular point, we know there's shit that even the element of air, we know we gotta depend on things we can't see, you know, that affect our survival.
Right.
But how do you take that, man? Like, did he go, I mean, can we see it like, oh, the elder is just getting spaced out? I mean, he said people can say what they want, you know what I mean, about what...
He did say that.
He did say that.
Now, all of you can call me crazy. No, hell, I've done heard it, man. And that night, on that mountain, when we got to the top of it, it was lit. And a little UFO was coming like it was going to land on top of that mountain. And Jabril was very close to me in the experience. And I said, come on, Jabril. And a voice from that little wheel said, not him, just you. So he stepped back and I walked out, thinking that the wheel was going to land. 3 legs came out from it, but it never came over the mountain. And a beam of light came out of that wheel and drew me up into it on a beam of light. Now you can say, nigga, you crazy, you a liar. You can say whatever you want.
You wanna be Christian? Why, you ain't no nigga.
But I'm not known to be a liar.
But I don't know. How did you take that? I can't say it's not true, but I'm just wondering, like, you know, what's your thoughts on that?
Like I said, you know, and this is purely from an analytical position of observing leadership, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that Farrakhan frames himself not only as the leader of the nation, but he's the spokesperson for quote-unquote black people. He says what's on our heart, you know what I'm saying? And he says that he's been able to speak from this impervious position where his detractors can't touch him because he's protected, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We know that the brother won't be with us forever though. So does that protection pass on to somebody else, or do you have novices that you're raising you know what I'm saying,
Right.
in this regard, to also be, you know, brought onto the craft and given a device so they could come down and, like the brother said, look, I don't write my speeches. You know, this is coming from me and it's coming through me.
Yeah.
What have you? You know, so he's suggesting that whatever he said was put in him, right, is the thing that's emanating this level of courage and this level of voice of prophecy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
During these particular times of which, right, your teacher, your messenger, says that these are the times. We're dealing with the fall of America. So these are very tumultuous times. These are very unpredictable times. You know, what's being done to frame leadership in the same vein to say, look, I can stand in the face of my enemies and I'm gonna be protected because I am blessed and I am protected, you know what I'm saying, by these forces of which we can't necessarily directly identify, but again, like I said, we have to have faith that they'll be there.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, we you know, this all is gonna come down to some level of quote unquote faith.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You have to have some level of faith because we're dealing in an aspect that is, you know, we're in the unknown. You know what I'm saying? Trump's president, like we don't know what the fuck is gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? You have to have a level of faith. I get it. But in terms of leadership, you know what I mean? How do you direct your people to move in a particular way to say, look, our protection is coming from above and beyond, you know what I'm saying? And again, we're not even talking in terms of like the Christian aspects of saying Jesus. We're not even talking about the Islamic aspects of saying Allah. Now you're talking about the mothership.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've had my own experiences. I've had my own level of communication. They have, you know what I'm saying, imparted me with some information that I've shared with people on occasion. I don't really feel like sharing it anymore.
Right. Understood.
Because at the end of the day, I will say this, what was imparted to me was that the people got to get their shit together. You know what I'm saying? Because the intervention that can be offered is because they can't separate peas in a pod, like, you know what I mean? They don't have the beam and shit where they could zap the person next to you and you still gonna stand. Everybody's gonna get washed up.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna get washed up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How they say kill them all and let God sort them out?
Today is Christmas. There will be a magic show at 0930. Chaplain Charlie will tell you about how the free world will conquer communism with the aid of God and a few Marines. God has a hard-on for Marines because we kill everything we see. He plays his games, we play ours. To show our appreciation for so much power, we keep heaven packed with fresh souls. God was here before the Marine Corps, so you can give your heart to Jesus, but your ass belongs to the Corps. Do you ladies understand? Sir, yes, sir. I can't hear you. Sir, yes, sir.
It'll be that type of situation. So if you want to be in charge and respected, right, galactically, because again, you say that you're the custodians and the guardians of this galaxy, right?
Yeah.
Okay? The melanated man, the Asiatic black man, you are the guardian and the custodian of this particular piece of real estate and property, whether it's nature within itself or whether it's this construction of this matrix. Okay? This man is your problem. As he is your creation, out of control. You need to deal with this shit.
Exactly.
Okay? Any alien intervention on your part, you're gonna be at the fucking bottom of the stockpile as well. You ready to be at another bottom of somebody else's ship? I don't think that you want that.
Exactly.
So you're gonna have to fucking man up and find the balls inherent within yourself to do something about this condition of which happened on your watch while you were asleep. Okay? While you were asleep. Pontificating. all right, pontificating, because there's been laws and points and things of that nature where things could have been done and nothing has been done. There's been a lot of talk. There's been a lot of rhetoric. And this motherfucker just has become more and more uncontainable to the point where the actual manifestation of his Germanology has manifested itself in the White House. And he just so happens to have German descent.
Right. Yeah.
So Christopher Saul, a German immigrant, publishes the first American Bible. Well, hello everyone. I wonder what that is. The first American Bible was in 1627. Or around the 1743 they're saying. Saul's were. But we already knew the King James Version is the most popular version, and it comes out of the 1600s, which means it goes into the 1700s, you know, the 6th century. Why? Let me just read this. It says, publishing the first American Bible. Germans have been influential in the printing and publishing industries in Europe ever since Johannes Gutenberg invented movable type, and they bring this experience with them to the United States. Now, I tell you.
Like I said, you know.
So let me ask you this, though.
It sounds like it works good for Farrakhan. But how do you impart that on the people as a whole? How do you impart it on other organizations with other levels of leadership? Why not have a leadership council where you sit down and you introduce them to the big homies and see if they could get the juice too?
So now look though, my thing is, do you think that at this particular point that we're still in the era where quote unquote leaders are necessary, or are we in an era where we all know what time it is and we got work to do?
Both.
Like, it's both, right? Because because like one of the things I found is that they keep putting it on the leaders. And I'm like, it's not just them, though. They gotta have like a
We're in
collective.
Aquarian age. We're in Aquarian age. We're in Aquarian age. So, you know, the leaders they're gonna revolt against the leaders. You know what I'm saying? The children, these young people are gonna revolt against leadership.
Right.
So technically, leadership in one person is a Piscean aspect that has seen its days. There should be no such no such thing as a singular leader of an organization. But Farrakhan is a very interesting individual, being that he has one foot in his Piscean aspect and he has another foot in the Aquarian aspect. Because the nation is still here. And then technically, you know, there's still the strongest coalition of melanated force that we have and I can identify on the planet. Or in these quote unquote, you know, United States of America.
Nah, but look, this is why I say we can't be United States citizens. What would become the United States? It wasn't always that.
So he still has a relevance, he's still here, he still has a voice, he still was able to gather 1 million people on that lawn.
Right.
So, but I think that yes, people are starving for his leadership. I think people are starving for his leadership. You know what I'm saying? But the consolidation of that leadership more into just dealing with his flock, quote unquote, don't take that out, you know, the wrong way, y'all.
Right.
I'm just saying. When I was younger, you know, a Farrakhan address would be something that was an address to quote unquote Black America. You know what I'm saying? As of lately, it seems that it's a little bit more contained to the nation, because you got all of these other groups and what have you that have identifications and voices, but not leadership. Because we can't say, I ask you, well, who's the leader of the Moors?
Well,
who's the Hebrew leader?
If we do the knowledge, we already got the lesson. Noble Drew Ali, he was saying that he came to make each one of us a priest and a leader amongst ourselves. and for us to get our families in order. So it's more so an aspect of self-responsibility that Moors are mandated to take, which is why I think that Moors are perceived as a high threat, because we don't look for them to do shit for us like that.
I got it.
Yeah.
I understand that. But I'm talking about in terms of identifying singular leadership. Think about when, think about when Farrakhan, you know, in his heydays, or even younger than him when Elijah was around. And I said, well, who would be the leader of the Hebrews? You would have been Amin.
It's something about our history that is determining our destiny. That's why they don't want you to know your history, because your history is in control of your destiny.
Right,
you know right. Well, who was the leader of, you know what I'm saying, Moors? And they didn't have an identifiable leader, but there was a battle for the leadership after Drew Ali died. And that's what created splinter groups.
Right.
So regardless of whether he left these lessons or not, it still devolved into what it devolved into.
Yes, sir. And even though Noble Drew Ali had passed, and many of the former followers of Noble Drew Ali came to join the nation. We write a letter to get an X, but he never, ever touched the names that Noble Drew Ali gave to his followers. They already had a righteous name.
One of those hopeless colored names creeping out of New Jersey. Like the landlord.
Yeah. Like what?
Definitely.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They had a leader for the NAACP. Peace Corps. You would have Ben Shavers, you would have this person, you would have that person. You know, everybody can't sit at the table at once. Somebody has to represent said organizations. So the era of organizations is the past bygone era. There are no more organizations. Now we have quote-unquote individuals.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then that still has to be factored out. Well, how does an individual exert a level of leadership in society when people are still saying, well, this person is not qualified for this, or that person is not qualified for that. You got to put 20 years in. You got to put 30 years in. But again, these are very tumultuous times. So you have people like take the conscious community. You know, they got lecturers that been around 2 weeks.
Right.
And they got a following. They got lecturers that been around under a year. Literally. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? And they're quote unquote designated as leaders. They have followings. Their viewerships is in the tens, almost to the hundreds of thousands. And those people are considered leaders because people have put their lives in their hands.
Right. So is that an attestation to how flip-flop we are as a people? Going back to
again, like I said, it's Aquarian. It's the changing of the ages, so it's going to be unidentifiable. It's going to be like this. You know what I'm saying? Until people finally get it, which might be if we have 100, 200, 300 years from now.
That's crazy, bro.
But you're going to have the hybridization aspect of both ages right now.
Because you got to look at it like this too. People are still in the Martin Luther King era mindset of we need a leader, we need another Martin, we need another Malcolm, we need another Farrakhan. But when you think about it, the thing that made the change is when they put the movement in the hands of the youth. Like, that's the real fact. Even with the whole peaceful protest Martin Luther King was doing, it was like, yo, let's send the babies out there.
When King was released on April 20th, he was highly conflicted over the use of children as marchers. Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth, however, summed up the situation when he said, "We gotta use what we got." Charles Moore was there to capture the events on film. The water had scattered the students, but as the noise died down, a small group of students still standing could be heard singing, "Freedom." The students regrouped. Police dogs were set on the marchers and even some of the bystanders. Spectators, demonstrators, firemen, and policemen were sent to the hospital. 1,922 children were sent to jail, but the jail was full. They filled the jail yard and were taken to the fairgrounds and locked in the stock pens. Most would stay for 1 to 2 weeks. Wherever they were imprisoned, the songs of the movement rang out and gave them courage.
The effects of the Children's March came quickly, beginning on Miracle Sunday, when parents and children marched together. In spite of Connor's order, the firemen refused to attack. More than 20,000 students had skipped school to go to jail. By May 10th, the businesses of Birmingham had had enough and agreed to desegregate. As children returned to school, however, they were informed that they had been expelled. The school board's decision was appealed all the way to the district court in Atlanta before it was overturned and the students were readmitted.
On May 17th, Life magazine published an 11-page spread of Charles Moore's photos of the Children's March. More than half the country read it. In 186 cities across the country, people marched in support of the youth of Birmingham. In the White House, the photos sickened President Kennedy, who, bolstered by the courage of the children, at last called for change.
The events in Birmingham and elsewhere have so increased the cry for equality that I shall ask the Congress of the United States to act to the proposition that race has no place in American life or law.
On July 23rd, Birmingham repealed its segregation ordinances, and in August, the March on Washington showed the movement was national. That fall, the schools of Birmingham were integrated, but after all these successes, the children would be asked to make one more sacrifice.
You know what I mean? And that's what struck a change for people to take self-responsibility. It went from, oh, the White House should do something about that, to when they saw babies getting abused, yo, I gotta do something about this. You feel me?
I mean,
so,
the
you know what I
theory
mean?
is, you know, with the fall of one leader, it's supposed to splinter into a million ones.
Yeah,
you know
right, yeah.
Where the targets are no longer, you know, distinguishable. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like, oh, that's that one figurehead, I take care of him, and the rest of the body fall.
Yeah.
You know, it's supposed to splinter into a million pieces, like when the sun explodes.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the babies coming out of it. Oh, look at them.
You know what I'm saying? It creates all of these stars and shit like that. So, we've yet to see that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like I said, it's still it's moving, or it's trying to move into that, but it's still kind of bumpy or what have you, because people are not trusting of one another, let alone trusting of themselves to say, look, I got this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or we haven't been put in the conditions yet.
Word. Yeah, you said we haven't been put in the conditions where people have no choice.
Yeah, but to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I think that's
pull it together, and you the leader. You know what I'm saying? You the leader of your household. You the leader of your block. You the leader of this. You the leader of that.
If everybody got the same blueprint and the same instructions,
right?
What are you talking about? You need a leader.
For real, man. My gal right now doing 32 years, man. Abigail Bay, Tabitha Gentry, Memphis, Tennessee, because Todd told her that she can walk in the house and claim it. Because this I'm Moorish American. He do a proclamation.
I did get to check out that video that we was talking about on Tuesday night, and I see that there's a lot of spineless weak-boned, spineless Moors out here. And I'm not saying that dissing Moors. I'm talking about those Moors who are dissing us. And we're Moors. Get that clear. We are Moors, you know, but there's a lot of weak Moors out here crying, complaining. And what I'm coming to the degree of realizing is that a lot of these people had cases, and I'm really starting to think a lot of them got flipped. I'm really starting to think a lot of them got flipped. Real talk, like real deal, Holyfield, because you know, this narrative that they're giving, like they're trying to blame Taj, they're trying to blame, you know, Great Seal, they're trying to blame RV Bay Publications for these actions that they took. And I'm just saying that they're liars. They are fronting or ignorant if they don't know about those lessons. And the reason I say that is because in the Circle 7, it talks about this being the uniting of the Holy Quran of Mecca, that the authority on the 101s, it talks about the authority being derived from the great Quran of Muhammad, which, you know, the Holy Quran of Mecca and the great Quran of Muhammad is one and the same because Muhammad is from Mecca. So let's be clear. These are one and the same thing. But I just say that to say this. I want to reference out of the Holy Quran of Mecca or Great Quran of Muhammad, Surah number 24, An-Nur. And An-Nur means the light. All right? Surah 24, An-Nur, enumeration 29. This is for all of those in the MST of A who say, oh, well, you know, entering houses and quote-unquote squatting, that has nothing to do with the teachings of Noble Drew Ali. Let's be very clear. The teachings of Noble Drew Ali are deeper than the Circle 7 Holy Quran. All right, so when we go to the upper degrees of what he was talking about, Surah 24 and Nur, or the light, enumeration 29, it says, it is no fault on your part to enter houses not used for living, in which serve some other use for you. And Allah has knowledge of what you reveal and what you conceal. Why do I say that? Because these weak-spined Moors who are acting as if it's Taj Tariq Bey's fault, RV Bey, Great Seal's fault for what happened to Apka Ray Bey, you know what I'm saying? Instead of standing on the First Amendment and their constitutional secured rights and religious freedoms, they chickened out, all right, turned chicken heads, and now they're blaming Moors because they didn't study. Like, we were supposed to man and woman up back then. You know what I'm saying? And
but I'm trying to say, like,
yeah,
because of that ideology, that you are going to scrutinize somebody else's leadership skills from the comfort of wherever you're at, then now it becomes the clashes of quote-unquote said leaders, whether they're individuals. Now they're clashing heads. That happens in the conscious community.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm over here doing things the way that I want to, as you said I'm supposed to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but I got enough time to be in your business, and then we're going to clash heads because I want your flock, I want your attention, I want your views.
Yeah, Tyree Bay. I'm gonna say it again. Tyree Bay. It's your ugly ass nigga. You're a motherfucking fraud.
Trying to place blame on Taj and RV, and then these dudes sound homoerotic because they're saying, "Oh, Taj, he's ugly. He's an ugly nigga," and all of this. You know what I mean? You homoerotic because your queen is locked up. They snatched your queen off the chessboard, and you didn't do shit about it yet.
Yeah. I hope all you so-called Moors see this shit, man.
But I got enough time to be in your business, and then we're gonna clash heads because I want your flock, I want your attention, I want your views.
Yeah. I hope all you so-called Moors see this shit, man. Yeah. Y'all frauds, man. Y'all committing genocide on y'all people, man. Y'all boys be on the motherfucking damn show looking like rappers and shit, man. Y'all boys be on the motherfucking damn show looking like rappers and shit, man. I see y'all elevate, man.
Oh, them fools go right there.
Trouble was right there on that corner, staring right at us.
Yeah, they rolling hard too. They slanging real good, real good.
Might have to drop. Might have to drop a dime on them niggas.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Stop.
I don't like that shit.
For sure, bro.
I see y'all elevate, man.
I don't like that shit.
I see y'all elevate, man.
But I got enough time to be in your business, and then we're gonna clash heads because I want your flock, I want your attention, I want your views.
I see y'all elevate, man. You niggas ain't working, y'all going on tours and shit, man. A lot of people, man, with that black shit, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry. I mean it too. Let me talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Tell you what it was all about, maybe.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So even social media got people thinking that they're leaders because they have followings.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The whole shit is, it's another matrix within the matrix. Because they got followers and all of this.
I am not your leader.
Facts.
Okay?
Yeah.
Let's make that clear.
Let's get it right. You know what I mean?
My life is one in which I believe, maybe until the day that I transcend, I'm going to be a master student. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My master teacher is life.
Yes.
Okay? My master teacher is life. At certain points along my journeys, there are people that personify those master teachers that come along in this life.
Yeah.
But I will never be a master teacher while I am still physically here. I am a master student. I'm always learning and refining myself with these lessons.
Absolutely.
So I don't have time to be a leader for somebody else.
Yeah.
My baby, my children, my heirs, more than likely them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you're not my heir, I can never be your leader.
Right. Exactly. You know what I mean? We could be, you know what I mean?
And
We
even
can
my
learn.
heir has the propensity to rebel.
Exactly.
Because that's the nature of the age that we live in. That's Aquarian. They're gonna rebel.
Absolutely.
Be prepared.
Right.
Like all youths rebel. You feel me?
Yeah.
I see y'all elevate, man.
Absolutely. And what you think? It's more so just growing stages, like, you know what I mean? Or you think it's an intentional rebellion? Because I know a lot of parents say that, and it do be true in most cases. But is that just the process of life? We just gotta understand, like, look, they ain't gonna be a little baby forever. They gonna wanna start making their own choices at a certain age.
Yeah,
It just is what it is.
It's a natural process.
It's a natural process,
Youthful
right?
rebellion is a natural process. Not too many youth are able to get away from that.
Right.
But there's a level of conditioning based on how you raise the child that's going to determine the level of rebellion.
Right. Case
in point.
Yeah.
Like young women who have been raised categorically and the church settings, you know what I'm saying? Christian environments.
Yeah.
Right? Where sexuality is suppressed and these conversations don't be had. Those children have a tendency to rebel sexually.
Right.
They become a little bit more promiscuous. They become a little bit more experimental. You know what I'm saying? And they become a little bit more guile with their methods because they have to be a little bit more clever with hiding them. You understand?
Right.
So they get a little bit more freaky-ish. You know what I'm saying? This might be a stereotype, but there are people who have experienced this in their lives enough to say, I know what you're talking about.
Clay, you middle-class black bastard.
Oh, come on.
Forget your social working mother for a few seconds and let's knock stomachs. Clay, you live in a white man. You would be Christian. Why, you ain't no nigger. You're just a dirty white man. Come on, get up, come on, dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me.
Right, so what I'm saying is not across the board. It's not a unilateral statement that applies to everybody. Okay? But we know that these things, you know, have manifested themselves. You know, wherein I have known people that have been in households where they've been raised where the households have been very sexual expressive but sexual responsible at the same time, meaning that the mother has had these conversations with their child from a young age, even though that child has been experienced to a high level of sexuality in the household, they still have been able to explain it to them. And those women are a little bit more responsible sexually as they grow up than the ones where the sexuality has been repressed. Now let me clarify what I mean by sexual responsible, because I don't want to, you know, have my statements taken out of context.
Understood.
They get a boyfriend. They 16, 17, or 18, right? They can bring that boyfriend home. Whether they're having sex in the house or not. You know what I'm saying? They're having sex at home. You know what I'm saying? They might even have a tendency to have protected sex. More so. And if they make a decision not to have a protected sex situation, it's something that they're more than likely in control of than being, you know what I'm saying, duped into by somebody running game on them. You know what I'm saying? Or them being sexually experimentative to say, I just want to feel this because if I'm going, you know what I'm saying? If I'm going behind the back, I just might as well go all the way.
Everybody telling me to calm down. You know, don't curse, go to school, go to college. Well, fuck that. You know, we had colleges for a while now. You know what I'm saying? And it's still Brenda's out there.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, I had this baby. I can't bring her home to my mother. I gotta throw this baby out. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get this abortion. I can't bring that shame home. She thought I was a virgin. But the ones that be open with their sexuality at home with their parents, they be the ones more than likely sometimes, either one, like I said, if they do have, if they do get pregnant at a younger age, you know, that child is brought into an environment where there's love in the home, right? Not only from the parents, but from the parents of the children. You know what I'm saying? Or they be the ones that don't even end up getting pregnant until they want to. Because they a little bit more in control of the process, which is a very important process, a part of life. You know what I'm saying? And it shouldn't be suppressed. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be suppressed. It shouldn't come under the confines of this particular organization. Okay? Because we all know that the oldest war on this planet is one that is being fought against the feminine principle. And this is one of the main purveyors of that war. Facts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, when I think about the history of this shit, the wicked shit that they did, Spanish Inquisition, I mean, the vagina pair and shit like that, like, they had sisters wearing them.
Yeah.
What you call them? Like
chastity belts.
The chastity belts and shit like
We're
that.
talking about people who have
mutilated
the bodies of the divine feminine, mutilated her. Not only physically, but we're also talking through rhetoric, you know what I'm saying? Through ideology. Okay? Mutilated her. Everywhere that they find her. Mutilated.
Conquest.
All right, despite the myth. Go ahead, read this.
Despite the myth that North America lay empty and available for the taking, European explorers encountered over 200 different cultures whose ancestors had lived on this continent for thousands of years.
Everywhere that they find her. Mutilated.
Through armed conflict, Europeans seized the land and claimed it for settlement.
Say that again, though.
Through armed conflict, Europeans seized the land and claimed it for settlement. This often entailed enslaving, subjugating, or removing native people to reservations against their will. Disease was an unintended instrument of conquest. Hold it. Disease was an unintended instrument of conquest. Hold it. Millions of Native Americans died from foreign viruses to which they had no resistance. So the disease was brought over with them.
So, yes, they've come up with torture devices unlike anything that Saw ain't got nothing on them.
Nothing.
And if it does, it got it from them. Okay?
That's some serious
Spanish
shit.
Inquisition, do your research. See how they get down with this woman. So now, what we're in the throes of in society, right? Especially with Jupiter being in Scorpio, all of these sexual assault, all of these sexual deviants are being outed. So we have a tendency to forget before Harvey Weinstein or damn near every other actor and director in Hollywood now is getting outed. You know what I'm saying? Before they talking about the pedophile rings. Okay? We had the church.
Colonization occurred, right? So they conquested. Now what's colonization? European nations colonized the Americas to exploit. Look what they're telling you what the reason is. It's right here. To exploit natural resources. They do it today. Engage in commerce, create new communities, and convert native peoples to Christianity. Bam, right there.
You wanna be Christian? Why, you ain't no nigga. You're just a dirty white man. Come on, get up, come on, dance with me. Dance with me, dance with me.
Yes. All right? We seem to want to sweep that under the rug and not talk specifically. And we're talking about the Archdiocese, we're talking about the Catholics, we're talking about people that are coming out of the vein of this glorious structure that we're standing in front of.
Right, okay?
Exactly. The saints are speaking through me today. God damn it. We have a church right here on these steps.
Right here on the steps.
So,
can we get an amen out here?
Can I get an amen? All right. Ain't they feelings, but
oh, pardon me, miss. All right. Nah, you good.